Boom! What's up, everyone? Welcome to Simulation. I'm your host, Alan Sakyan. Very excited to be talking about comedy, talking about touring, talking about comedy showcases, performing for colleges, performing around the U.S. Very excited to have Andrew Orolfo joining us on the show.
Yeah, what's up?
Thanks for coming on, my man.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Very excited, very excited. We first met, what was it, like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You were performing on the Eureka Science comedy shows.
Yeah.
That was very exciting. It was very exciting. And loved your work a lot, and it's been fun following you, seeing you now doing even more tours, even more performances, doing your own showcase. For those yes, I love the growth, love the growth. For those that don't know, Andrew's links are below in the bio. He's been doing this for 6 years now, doing comedy as a stand-up comedian, touring the US, performing. Also, he's co-hosting, along with Joey Avery, who we've had on the show, and Mark Smalls, who we need to still have on the show, the Pier 69 podcast. And that link's also in the bio, check that out. He's also the producer of the Comedy X PopUps, a comedy showcase that happens in Oakland, Monday at 8 p.m.
Every Monday at 8
p.m.
Yeah.
Cool. So that link's also in the bio. Check that out for those that are local. All right, let's start this off on this beautiful big history perspective. We find ourselves now on this playground called Earth, experiencing this human experiment. What are your thoughts about this?
I think the Earth is flat. No, I'm just kidding. Like, what do you mean? Like my thoughts on just like
8 billion of these advanced chimps running around trying to socialize and economics and politics.
I think we're all gonna die soon, but I think we're gonna go out in a real fun way. I think it's gonna be real fun. We're having a good time right now. Things are wild, but you have fun in wild times, you know what I'm saying? It's good.
Okay, two things then. What's your most fun in the wild time, and how do you think we're going to go out?
Oh, man. I'd hope, okay, so the way we'd go out, I hope it would be like, okay, so like the U.S. or some countries are going at war, right? And we're all about to like, oh, this is going to end it. But then right before they're about to like, the country's about to go at it, aliens come, and they're just like, no, like, we take you out, you know? And then we have to fight the aliens. We're gonna lose, for sure, but it'd be fun. We'd see in the end, we'd unite to defeat the aliens, you know?
Yes.
But we're still gonna die. It's totally fine.
Well, have you read anything about the false flag invasion, upcoming false flag invasion that's going to involve an alien attack? Have you heard anything about that?
No. That sounds interesting, though.
Yeah, because it's funny that you said that about, these aliens. Yeah, be prepared for a false flag attack involving alien disclosure coming to the planet, and then we're all going to do a big kumbaya lord and come together globally. That's the plan, but
Do you think we'd win?
I could give a shit either way.
This is good though, because if you do see civilization like on the political side, all these governments and whatnot, and people still mad at each other, arguing, trying to fight each other, going into a collapse, and then there is something that unites us, that's some force that helps unite us to realize, oh, we are all together here on this earth. We need to cherish that.
Yeah.
And what about the most wildest experiences right now before the craziness? Like, what is your favorite part about the human experiment right now?
Technology is so great right now. I could do whatever I want, and I don't have to leave my house, or I don't have to leave my bed.
Leave my bed.
I can live stream the alien fight. I don't have to go anywhere.
Watch the alien fight in the bed and order shit from Amazon at the same time.
I'm just like going through different like videos. Well, China's not doing too great.
Oh my goodness, that speaks highly to how technologically advanced we are. But there's at times it seems like we're still a little like ethically in kindergarten. Like we haven't all evolved yet in terms of our hearts and in terms of our love and compassion for one another, for all the getting beyond this whole fighting.
Yeah. I feel that. I just feel like technology is so new right now too that we're trying to figure it out. So it's like we can't figure ourselves out, you know?
It's like it can help in so many ways figure us out, but it's also such a distractive tool at the same time.
Are you on your phone a lot?
I've finally, in the last since 2019, since the beginning of the year, just decided to start just keeping my phone off for like I'm talking like days at a time. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's like so rewarding, and you already get your email and your Facebook message all on the computer anyway. Like, you know what I mean?
I didn't like because I didn't. I remember I had a laptop back in like I want to say like 2011. It broke. And I just never ended up getting one, and I just did since like 2011 to like I got a laptop now. Like as of like I got one for Christmas, and
you didn't use one for 7 years.
Yeah, I didn't have a laptop for anything.
Do you still have the power supply from 2011? Because I need a new one. You know?
I think I might. Dude. Yeah, I think I actually might.
Yeah, see me after.
All right, cool. See me after. Yeah, so for like years I was just like on my phone. So I was like on my phone. I've calmed down a lot, you know, but for a while I was on my phone like a lot, just doing everything, like trying to figure out like doing work and stuff on my phone, emails and stuff. So I've been doing a little bit better now.
Well, also like it can exhaust these meat sticks. Like if you're trying to just use your thumbs, versus at least if you get the full range of a couple other sticks to press keyboard with, that can at least speed things up, you know, because then you use the device for less time, which is very important. Which I'm very excited for, you know, voice technologies. I'm very excited for everything that just takes us away from the appendage that's, you know, just like. But it's also scary because you have to trust the technology companies that are going to try and implant the. Andrew, let's do the conversation about your role in this human experiment. So, you know, you're born and you're a kid and you're figuring yourself out, and then you figure out that, you know, you like me, we went to school for 2 years. And then we dropped out. And then we find ourselves, you know, producing comedy, producing the shows, right? This type of stuff. How did that trajectory work out for you? How did you pick up your interests?
So like how did I start comedy? So I used to, after high school, I went to like a community college for.
Where at?
Diablo Valley College in Pleasant Hill, or like Concord area, East Bay. East Bay. I was there for, I don't know, 3 years maybe. Just like, I didn't even know what I was even doing. Like I would try to like stay on a path and be like, yeah, I don't like that path, and I go on a different one. I did that for the whole time I was there. I never really picked one thing. But I was working at a skate shop like down the street from where I was going to school, and the manager of my skate shop was like, hey, like I'm gonna go do stand-up comedy tonight, like let's just all go and do it. So it was like, I think like five of us just like after work, we all just like
mobbed in.
We got off work, or the ones who got off, we all got off early, and then we went to our friend's house and we just like all wrote together, just like in a room of just like 5 of us writing complete nonsense. Like it was like no real bits. I'm like 20 or 21 at the time. I was like, I don't even remember what I was talking about, but it was probably something stupid that no one could relate to. And then we just drive down to this comedy club in the East Bay called Tommy T's, and they had like an open mic that you paid $5 to like do. And I mean, there was like a huge audience, and like it was like exciting, and I was like the only one that's, after that, I don't even know how well I did. In looking back, probably I was like, yeah, I did great, you know. But now I'm like, that was probably terrible. I just, so much adrenaline, nerves, you don't know what's going on. And then I kept going, and my manager at the skate shop, he kept going for a little bit. He recently, he doesn't do it as often as I do, but he's kind of still in there. And then everyone else was just like, I'm never doing this ever again.
This is great. This is those moments of the kind of, they trigger like a butterfly effect in someone's life. And that's really nice. We hear this as a frequent thing from the guests that come on the show. And so you had that, and again, you're talking about this, you know, the adrenaline, this experience of performing in front of people. That's also kind of like a frequent thing that people enjoy when they're able to, you know, communicate something of value, whether it's funny like comedy or whether it's an idea that's really profound for people. To take a stage and be able to do that, it's a lot of fun. And you kind of got hooked.
I got hooked like right away, like kind of right away, because like I was like, oh, I got to do this again. Like, this is great. And then I was like, I did fine. I'll do fine next time. And then I go back the next week, literally like the next week, and it was like, here I go. And I went up there with like different material than I did. And it was like one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. Like, I was like, wow, like this is not what I thought it was going to be. And then I like stopped I didn't do it again for like probably like a month or two, just because I was like, I'm going to go back. But I was just like, man, I got to take some time off of this, because it kind of hurt. It was a real, like, kind of like reality check to like my ego. I was like, yeah, I can do this. And then it was like, no, you can't.
If they can't take a joke.
I don't think it was me.
Exactly. This is why comedy is probably one of the most important like ego check experiences, because a lot of people think that they're, you know, hilarious. I remember, you know, my first couple times going on stage too, getting a couple people to laugh out of the whole audience is like awesome. For me, was great. And I was like, wow, awesome. I got a couple people to laugh a couple times. And then you got to keep going and shattering this uncomfortability that you have, and do it over and over again until you become a master at the art.
Yeah. It's because when I went into it, I was like, I love the joke writing part of it, the technical aspects of comedy. That was like my favorite part. That's why I kind of kept on doing it. And that's kind of where I think I found like, okay, this is what I like. Because like I feel like when people find like what they want to do, they just want to figure out, they might not be like the best at it, but they want to figure out how they can at least get close to it, or fix what they did wrong. Like in science and stuff like that, people are always trying to like answer things, you know, figure out the right equation or something like that. And like for me, it was like, how do I make these jokes like better, funnier, you know? Because like each joke is almost like an equation or like a puzzle, to where you could find different solutions to get the laugh, which is the solution, or close to a solution, you know? That's what's fun for me about comedy. Like
those variables.
It's so much fun to like have a sentence and just like tweak like a few little words, or put something over here versus over here, and it just like completely changes a reaction from a person. Like, that's a lot of fun to me.
The pause is also very interesting. The dynamic feedback is really cool. Like you can tell when the audience gets it, and then if you make a tweak, maybe they don't get it as much, or they get it more, and that's how you adjust and play.
Or if you just like swap out like literally one word, and it goes from like a tiny laugh to like a huge laugh. That's so cool to me. Like just like tinkering with all these different ways I can play with words, and it's so much fun. And I like how you focus on the technical. I want to we'll unpack that more as we keep talking. I want to hear about. So as you're picking it up post the manager of the skate shop introducing you, and getting into the flow of technical writing and performing. So then, how did you end up over those 6 years, and in this case, especially in the Bay Area, slowly going from local events to touring events, and then to colleges as well, which I want to talk about as well. So give us that. So when I first started, it was like I remember I would do just that one mic at Tommy T's on Tuesdays. I think it was on Tuesdays. I'd pay every time too. I'd pay every time. And then I remember one night I was with my group of friends, and someone was like, hey, we're gonna go to another open mic in Oakland, and I was like, what you're gonna do two? You're gonna do two of these in one night? And then he was like, yeah, that's like what you do. And then I just got it. My friends were like, okay, let's go. We just got in our car, and then we just kept hitting more open mics. And once you get into like the more open mics, you get to meet more people in the scene where you're at, and then they'll put you on other places. They'll show you, and then you just find out like there's so many places you can get up, and then you just keep doing that, and eventually I would go up every night, like just not getting paid at all, just doing little sets for like almost no one a lot of the time. Sometimes you get lucky and you have like a big crowd, and that'd be fun, and you'd hold on to that one for a while. I think that's what would kind of keep you going. You'd have all bad sets, and then you'd have that one good one, and you'd be like, okay, let's hold on.
Let's
store that.
100 people, and you're like, I did a good job there.
Yeah. And then and then eventually, like, people will see you get better, or you don't get better, and then
move on to something else.
Yeah, and then either you start getting booked, and like I remember like my thought process, like when I was trying to get better, like how I saw it, I was like, okay, when I was early getting booked, I was like, okay, try to do okay. Okay, and then I was like, if you can do okay, that's fine. And then after I started doing okay, I was like, okay, let's try not to be the worst person on the lineup. So if I was just a little bit better than someone else, or like just that, I was like, okay, good. And then the next one was like, let's try to be closer to the best person on the lineup. And then you work towards that. And then after that, I was like, okay, how can I bury this whole show? Or just how can I just do the best, you know? Yeah, and that's kept me going. And then
what gets you from paying to do the performance to booking, to people booking you and paying you to perform? Just the slow increase of getting better, right?
Yeah. So like you never know who's in the audience a lot of the times, and a lot of the shows that are run in the Bay Area they also run other shows that are like good, you know. So some people that run open mics will also run like a really good show, and then they'll see you at their open mic, and then they'll be like, hey, I like you, do you want to do this show? And then once you get on that show, you're kind of on with shows with like other good people in the scene who are like established, who also run shows. So the Bay Area is nice because it's like it's a small scene. It's not that big to where like you'll be on shows with people that are working, and then they also run shows, and they'll put you on that, and then you'll meet other people, and eventually you don't have to, you can stop open micing, or I don't know if you could stop, but like you won't have to do it as much because you're booked. So you're booked. Interesting. So instead of like, so it's like, I remember I'd be going from like, maybe I'd do early in the week, I'd do a few open mics like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then for the rest of the week I'll be booked. And then you keep doing that, and then eventually you start also running your own shows. And
this is interesting. When did you start Comedy X PopUps?
That started almost 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
We're almost, I think, in a couple months we'll be at 3 years.
And that's the image of the black building. So this is in Oakland. You've been doing this 3 years. You started producing your own showcase. So then you go and network with comedians, and then you get them to come onto your showcase where you sell tickets and you produce a lineup, and people come and attend your showcase, and then you build up credit that way as well as a producer. You network more, you get better, you see how other people perform.
Yeah, because like when you run a show, it's also just it gives you yourself like stage time. So so technically every Monday I am booked because it's my show. You know? So technically I have a show every Monday. I'm booked every Monday in front of like a great crowd, and so you can like put that in your calendar and it counts. So when people see that, you're like, oh, he's booked a lot, and it's just like, well, yeah, it's my show. I do that myself. But yeah, I started that show with my friend Irene too.
Yeah.
Super funny, very funny comedian.
We've been aiming to get her on too, but she's in LA a lot, right?
Yeah, she's in LA now.
Yeah. So hopefully when she comes back up, we can get her. So you guys co-produce.
Yeah. Cool. She's back most Mondays, so she's there. If you can get her on a Monday, like
beautiful. I'll message her about that. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, we started that because there was like no Monday shows, so. In the venue that we have, Starline Social Club in Oakland.
Yep.
Super great bar. Like they have their own little event space. They have a few event spaces. So we saw their small room and we're like, let's do something here. And then they did have a few shows that were like on the weekends for comedy, but I don't know. The bar's pretty like, it's a good bar. So like on the weekends it's like pretty packed and it's like, maybe not the best time for comedy. So Monday we kind of locked that in and we started it every 2 weeks. So it was 2 times a month, second and fourth Monday. And then it started doing really well. And then we had like a few big names like come through and then the bar was like, just go every Monday. So we're like, okay, yeah, we'll go every Monday.
Dope.
And yeah, so now just consistency with it. It's key with running a show. I mean, you know, like yeah, consistency because they know.
It's great that you get the slot to practice as well. And
yeah.
And this is actually a very complicated thing because you have to rent out the venue. You have to coordinate ticket sales. They have to go to like some site to get sales. You have to promote it. You have to book the comedians to come on. You have to give them slots. You have to pick an order for them. This is all. There's a drinks. The bar wants to make money. There's there's all of this, and this is all a learning experience. So for every single person that's listening, you know, really think about what you love doing and go and produce something that you love doing and get more and more practice with that. That's what's great. If you start twice a month producing something, then you get down to once a week. And then you start doing it every day you're performing, or almost every day you're performing comedy, and we're performing our show and stuff like that. And that gets us in a rhythm.
And when you produce your own show, it's great because you're learning. When it's weekly, we learned everything from like producing just from like this. You know, it's like a lot of trial and error, and when you can do it more, you figure it out faster. You know. So and like currently right now I have. We're lucky in the Bay Area for like live performance, like comedy music, and because since San Francisco is so tech heavy, like everyone is checking social media. So like, and there's these few key websites here in the Bay Area. If you get your event on there, you pretty much have a sold out show. So it's
like FunCheap. And
FunCheap. If you get on FunCheap because our show's on FunCheap, and if you get on FunCheap, you're guaranteed at least somebody. You know. So it's great. That's why I run like I have 3 weekly shows now. I have one on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So just because out here it's pretty easy. It's not. I mean, you have to figure out how to get to it. Like the social media sites and stuff. But once you figure out the pattern and how it works, it kind of goes on autopilot, and then you can run multiple shows here. You know, because once you start a show, after it's gonna be rough for like a few weeks, maybe a few months, but once start people knowing about your show, and if it's weekly, if it's consistent, people just know.
They just know.
They can tune in whenever they want.
That's
your
right.
show. Maybe they'll miss the previous episode, but they'll come back for the next one. You know, because they know it's there. So every Monday, people just know it's there.
They can do it as a date night, as a fun night.
Yeah, they don't have to be like, is it? Wait, what day is it?
So okay, let's talk, because this is good. We got to this equation side of things and plugging in different variables and tweaking words on the technical side, the delivery, all that stuff. Producing your own show the last 3 years with Irene, awesome. And Is it Irene or Irene? Or
Irene.
Irene. See, I need to get that right. Irene. So, and then so you guys producing that for the last 3 years, again, another huge growing experience. Meanwhile, you know, this is cool. You were teaching me about NACA.
Yeah, NACA.
NACA,
oh, wow.
NACA, the National Association for Campus Activities.
Yeah.
Which I didn't actually know there was like a, you know, like a national association for these campus activities. It just seemed like, you know, so this is where you can get picked up as a comedian to go perform at colleges.
Yeah.
Teach us about this.
So the NACA is interesting because it's kind of it almost is like almost like a level up.
And that's that third or the next image, Ron, the one where he's standing on the, yeah, that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Hey.
That's my buddy Pedro Gonzalez. Shout out, super funny comedian in
Shout
New York.
Pedro.
Check him out.
You said it's a next level up.
It feels that way.
Cool.
So in order to do NACA, you have to, like, I was lucky enough to, like, I've made connections over the years to where some people have helped me out to get like a NACA, like a college agent. So I'm with them and they help me submit to these NACA conventions where these are just these big conventions all over the country. I think there's like 6 or 7 regions where they showcase comedians and music, magicians. It's everything. It's anything that your campus can have, like to entertain the students. So it's like magic, music, comedy, balloon animal, face painting, caricature drawings, like someone that can just come to your school, like escape rooms.
Yeah.
They could mobile escape rooms. It's pretty cool. But to get in it, you have to like submit your tape to a committee of college students, college bookers. They're all like young adults, and they watch your tape, and then they decide if you they would like you to showcase for them in front of their region of colleges.
Yeah.
So, and your tape has to be like super clean, like the cleanest you'll ever be as a comedian. Like you can't swear, you can't really touch on a lot of topics.
Damn, this is that political correctness thing.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and then if they like you, then they'll let you showcase, and then
so you clean up good for the college.
yeah. It's super interesting because then you'll go to like these couple-day conventions where there'll be like all the student bookers. So it's maybe like if you're in a region, like a regional one. Say I'm like the West Coast region, then I'll showcase for, I don't know, over like 400 student bookers.
Yeah.
Like, and you're following so many different kind of acts. So like you'll have like a slam poet.
Oh, interesting.
Or like go before you and they'll talk about something intense, like very intense.
Yeah.
You know, something, and then you go up there and be like,
comedy.
Yeah. This is different.
Yeah, it's not comedy back to comedy. Yeah.
Or like a band will crush. Like sometimes I follow like last year there was like a band or like a group who like just crushed. Like all the students got up and started dancing, like, and then they get off and then I have to go up and then I'm like, hey, a little switch. It's happening right now. And it went fine. It was okay. But yeah, you do this tape, and then it's like a short tape. It's like probably like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and
like a highlight reel of your work.
Yeah. And they only have to watch like a few seconds of it. They don't really.
Yeah.
Like I think
because they get a lot of submissions.
They get a lot. Yeah.
And then they want to find the best ones, and they look at your social and your calendar, see how many you're doing.
They check everything. They check to see if like you're safe to hire.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. The safe thing. Okay, maybe before we get into the safe thing, let's just finish up on this because you called it like this next level up. I think this is really cool. Is that you can find these these things like NACA that can get you a step up in the scene, and there's kind of plenty of these ways. If you're, like you indicated earlier, producing your own show gets you a step up. Doing something like going to touring collegiate campuses to perform another one, and you get paid for that, which is great as well. So there's like these different steps up that you can take. And then other thoughts on the college before we get into PC, or do you want to go in?
No, we could.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Do you want to go in?
Let's do it. Let's go in.
Well, I was gonna, it feels like a step up just because like you're going from like very little money, and then people are actually like really trying to pay. It's a very interesting experience because you'll do these showcases, and if you do well, these kids don't know like you really, so like they can't. They would like, I know I did nationals recently, which was like in front of all the colleges, and
damn,
yeah, it was like over 1,000 kids. Yeah, and then I did well, and I still live here in San Francisco. I don't really have like that many like good credits or anything like that, but the kids would come up to me and be like, hey, can I take a picture with you? And it just feels weird. It's weird, like, it's like, you know, I'm going home. And eating McDonald's like right when I get to the airport.
Your boy is not cool. That's how I feel too.
Yeah, and then I'd see on like Twitter and Instagram like these kids tagging me like, hey, we just met Angel Orolfo, and then it's just like, oh, slow down. But I appreciate it. They're great. And doing the actual colleges is very fun. It's a cool experience. Sometimes not. Sometimes.
Okay, so here's the thing. You're breaking through another one of these walls of adversity, which is what we face when we're trying to get on stage for 1,000 people. You know, that's a huge one. I love that one. That's a really powerful one to shatter through and get really good at over time. And then also these colleges they're kind of like competing to get the best like activities for their students, and so they're trying to get the good talent, magicians, comedians, bands, etc.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like they hire the comedian to just be like, okay, you got pool on this side, but if you go a few steps over here, there's a comedian. You know what I mean? So like I remember one of them I did was it was in like a what is where like it's not like a
rec center?
Yeah, like a rec center of like one of the colleges. And I was like in one of the rooms was like a pool hall. Yeah. And like arcade games, and like I was in like the cafeteria kinda. Like they had a stage, but I was maybe like from what was it?
Ron?
From me, I'm sorry.
From Here to Ron?
From Here to Ron was at Auntie Anne's Pretzels. So as I'm telling jokes, there's just a bunch of students in line like getting getting their pretzels and mustard, and then coming to sit back down. And at one point I was just like, yo, Auntie Anne's just give me something. So he just like handed to me while I was on stage, just like some pretzels. So that's a lot of it. Some of them are really great. I've done some colleges where it's like a theater full of kids, but then there's another time where I did a college where it was in a theater, but there was only like 20 kids in like a 200-seat theater with the lights fully on. So it's just very awkward. It was just like an awkward experience.
These are the different experiences you get as you climb up and you get better. Okay, let's do this. What is going on with the political correctness? Like, you gotta like, you know, your reel, your 3-5 minute reel can't have anything inflammatory.
No. Like, I know. I mean,
George Carlin was saying some truth, man.
He would never get to do these colleges. Hell no.
Which is too bad, because a lot of the 18 to 22-year-olds need to hear some of the things that he's saying.
Yeah. So the tape that you submit is like the cleanest a comedian will probably be, you know, like cleaner than even being on TV. Because like on TV you could say like bitch or or shit at least like once or twice. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know the regulations on swear words, but you can't do that at colleges. Like because they just want someone who's to be on the safer side to please like everyone, you know, because whoever they book, it reflects them, and it's
no, nothing inflammatory, no offending anyone with your comedy. That's a hard thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you offend no one? Well, I guess you can. See, it's like even if you make a joke about wealth inequality, make a joke that like kind of like punches at rich people in some way, then there'll be some like rich kid that gets offended or whatever. God. You know, it's like kind of crazy that
so at my show in Oakland, I consider it's probably one of the more like woke audiences, you know. So you kind of have to work around some stuff, but you could. I mean, it's not like a college, but it's like I remember I did this joke about you know what transition glasses are, the lenses that change from black. Like my dad has those, and I was doing a bit about it, how I don't like them, and then a guy in the audience stood up, walks out the door, and right before he closes the door, he goes, "You fucking asshole," and then leaves because he was wearing them. But I mean, it was just like, it's why get upset at that? You know what I'm saying? You could just buy different glasses. But for colleges, you have to be super clean, and then when you do, if they pick you, then you get to showcase and do maybe like 7 to 10 minutes of clean. But you could maybe go a little bit off. Just to buy like a little bit. Maybe you could say shit. You know, but you don't want to talk about
totally
like politics there or something like gender or whatever, and which is it's just fine. Like
there's so much more material.
You can do there's so much out there. But then once you book the college, then it's up to the campus how your set goes. So like I will call them and be like, "Hey, I'm coming to your school in a few weeks. Just wondering, is there anything like I can't talk about?"
Oh, that's a good thing to do.
You know, just so it prepares me, and like because a lot of the times the colleges are like, do whatever you want.
Oh, damn, that's good.
Do whatever you want. Just don't talk about like. Most of the time, like I'll get like, please don't talk about sexual assault, which is fine. I don't do that anyway. That's easy. And then one time I got don't talk about like physical disabilities, which is also easy. Like and so
but otherwise it's pretty.
Otherwise you can do whatever you want. They're like you can talk about sex, you can talk about whatever. Because I mean like they're learning about it anyway. You know, I think it's just that
they're experiencing it.
They're doing it.
They're doing it.
Maybe not at such an advanced level as I am, but they're doing some of it, you know?
Maybe not like on an intimate love and compassion.
They're not using toys yet.
Not using toys,
If they are, good for you. Good for you, you know? It's fun. Like usually they're like, do whatever you want. It's cool. And it's a lot of fun. It's really cool.
And then, okay, give me your synthesis on the state of political correctness in comedy, period.
So as a comedian and like thinking with my comedian brain, like sure, some of it is like kind of, I wouldn't say it's like an annoying at all, but it's just like, okay, I can't. I feel bad for other comedians who are like trying to like push the edge. You know what I mean? My stuff, I don't really do that much. I talk about silly, dumb stuff, like a little weird stories of how like I'm like not a smart person, you know. So it's just like
we all are not smart. Yes. I
don't have real opinions on things, you know. So I just talk about silly stories, just be silly, and I can't appreciate like dark jokes, dark humor. I think like from the technical aspect of it, like a well-written joke I can appreciate. Like if someone does a joke about like I don't know, any taboo subjects, if they have like if the equation is there and I can appreciate it, you know. I can appreciate
so if the technical side, if the equation is drafted in a way that makes the punchline, which might not be politically correct,
But if it's funny,
and it does a good job at maybe communicating a lesson about maybe not killing other humans or something like that. Yeah.
Like I'm super like about that. You know what I mean? That's cool to me. Like, and it kind of sucks that some comedians, some of my favorite comedians they're kind of like upset about PC culture because they can't like say what they want. And I kind of get that, but I also can appreciate change. Like everything changes.
Yeah,
you know, and
it does.
I mean,
ethics evolve. This is a big one.
I don't think PC culture is bad at all. Like, I think it's great that
PC culture is doing a lot of good things. This is an important point. So, okay, let me put it this way then. As PC culture does its job at making sure that we no longer make really, really stupid jokes that are in sour taste about serious traumatic events that happen to people being raped or people that are going through a serious like murders happening on the streets and stuff like that. Like, you know, these are very, like, how do you know, there's a very strange way to craft an equation that would get you a way to evolve people's ethics away from murder or away from rape, right? But like, the point is that you want to help people move their ethics away from racism and sexism and bigotry of all sorts, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the point, is to move people on this spectrum more towards, like, you know, you're moving, they call this the Overton window. It's like the window of accepted ideas to be able to have, right? You're opening the window of possibilities more in the direction of progress.
Yeah.
And you're closing it off in the direction of where we came from, which is a lot of violence and bigotry and stuff like that. So that's, but you're moving that side faster. Yeah.
I agree with all that, but also as a comedian, like my comedian brain is like, I do like hearing a well-crafted dark joke, you know, it's just so fun, you know, it's great. But I don't hate the PC culture at all. I like it. I think it's a step in the right direction. It's like, it's cool, you know? And also I think it is cool that it kind of challenges like me as a comedian and other comedians. I find it as like a cool challenge. Like how can I navigate through these kind of like taboo topics and actually like make it funny. You know, it kind of, it raises the bar for writing. You have to write more clever. You have to write better now that you have kind of like, they're kind of like obstacles. Like PC culture is kind of like an obstacle, I guess, for some comedians, but it's like it's not a bad one. Like it's like a good obstacle to to try to get over. Like, because your writing is just gonna get sharper. You're gonna, I feel like you almost get a little more intelligent about like things like that. So yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's right. You're given another challenge that you have to, you know, tweak your formula to, you know, to evolve the ethics of civilization in the direction of progress. I agree with that side. I also want to just make sure that at the same time we have the nuance of be very careful with how much you try and limit some of the Overton window conversations, because you may think that you're moving people towards progress, but in many ways, people that think in Copernicus ways, in the way of the 0.1%, and in the counterculture ways, where culture is moving 99.9% in one direction, you may have a thought that may be that, no, the star doesn't orbit the Earth, the Earth orbits the star, right? You may have these profound countercultural thinking that we can't just close it off, because that might lose a very serious idea. Yeah. What do we do? Oh, thank you.
We're 4 minutes over that.
Okay, thank you, Ron. I thought we were around that time. Thank you for that. Okay, so quick, a couple things on the way. Ronnie, will you show the image of the last one that we have from Pier 69?
Sure.
Cool. So the last image that we have here to show, this is another one of the things, I know. You guys are so. What's your boy's name here again?
That's Daoud Namyar.
Daoud.
Yeah.
Daoud Namyar.
Namyar, yeah.
Daoud Namyar, because I remember meeting him at the setup as well. I don't think I followed up with him. We should, get him on the show too. But
Yeah.
the boys coming on for a round on simulation, we got to make that happen. This, I want to say again, this is one of those things that you do that ups your game again, because these are the things that you have to do. You have to go outside your comfort zone. What is it like to start a podcast? What is it like to work with? This is the Pier 69 podcast. Links in the bio. And Joey Avery right here was on the show before. Yeah, I know. And so this is again. I just wanted to touch on this quick. Just that it's another one of those things that you got to do. You guys go weekly.
Yeah, it's weekly.
Yeah.
We record every Tuesday, release every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Usually, or we release night of if we don't have to edit.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's because the way like social media is right now and like the entertainment industry, there's so many ways to, I guess, make it, which is which is very cool, but also it's almost
overwhelming.
There's no it's a little overwhelming. Because I guess back in the day, you had kind of stand-ups had like this path, like you do stand-up, you get late night, you have your own TV show. That's how it is. But now there's so many other ways to make it. There's like YouTube, Instagram even. You could just be an influencer, stand-up, podcasting. And a lot of the times now, like when people are looking for people to be have when they're looking for talent to be on a TV or something like that, or just successful in the entertainment industry, the industry is like, okay, you do stand up, what else you got? So now you have to, and that it's like now I have to learn how to write a TV show. I have to have a podcast. I have to do these YouTube sketches. I have to keep up my social media accounts every day. Just and it's a little overwhelming, but at the same time, pretty cool that any of these avenues can lead to something great.
So you bring up another interesting double-edged sword, which is that we have so many options with technology in terms of us finding new ways to carve our path up in terms of influence and making bringing value to other people. But at the same time, when you have to post on the platform to stay relevant and whatnot, then I'm interested. I think sometimes we create more noise into the sphere than if we were to not post on the platform, work on something creatively, and then post that on a different platform that we're better at or whatnot. I sometimes feel that way a little bit about the way that we use social, as we try and keep up with it so much that we put more noise into the sphere.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
With social media, like Twitter and Instagram, definitely, a lot of that is just you throwing things at a wall and just hoping someone likes it. But with the podcast and YouTube sketches, you could really be creative on there and stand up. Because when I started doing comedy, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do stand up, and then people are I've constantly telling me so what? That's not enough anymore, and that made me have to.
Well, what else do they want you to do?
To write. People want me to write because if you're looking for someone, if an industry person is looking for someone to make them famous, to make them money, it's like, okay, are they gonna go with the person who's really good at stand up, or are they gonna pick the person who is good at stand-up, but also good at writing.
And has a podcast. Yeah.
It's
produces their own showcase.
There's the more things you can check off on the box. And I always thought, if I'm doing stand-up and then I veer off to some other path, that my stand-up is gonna suffer. Because I wanted to focus just stand-up, just be a great stand-up. And then I started writing scripts, or started writing sketches, and then I started to realize like, oh, it's not. Just my brain is just, it's getting an even bigger workout than it was.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you can literally see with neuroscience and neural activity, you can see when people are more creative, have larger, more complex social networks, that they have more brain structure developed out themselves. This is very exciting. Their frontal lobes are larger. This is it's a very enhanced. This is a very interesting field of like to go deeper into your field that you care about, and you'll become smarter. Like
because like when I would write, I would write my stand-up, like my bits, and work on those at night, and then I'd shoot these sketches, or I'd write these sketches with like with the podcast friends and stuff like that, and then I'd be like, okay, it's making my brain work thinking about comedy in a different way, to where now if it didn't work at the sketch, I would apply it to stand-up, and then maybe it'd work for stand-up, and then vice versa. And sometimes we'll be doing the podcast, and we'll have like a great bit on the podcast, just like a fire riff, and then what else? Then we'd think, what else could we use that for? So then we'd take that bit, that riff, and then Daoud and I, and Mark and Joey, we'd take that idea and just expand on it in a sketch. And now that's like a whole new thing.
Yes.
You know, and then
sometimes it might fail on stage because it didn't translate from. There's all this. Yeah, but these are new ideas that can interplay. 2 quick questions on the way out. I feel like, did we do? We summarized. We did good.
It was fun. I hope it wasn't too comedy.
No,
it's definitely way too much comedy. That was a lot of comedy.
Yeah, we did do a lot of comedy, but no, we did a good amount on the other subjects we wanted to touch on.
You want to talk about drugs?
Yeah. You want? What do you think you got in that jacket over there? I know you got the goodies.
Do you have any drugs that we could do?
Listen, Ron, my niece watches this show. So, calm down over there. That's Ron's ongoing joke. All right, the 2 quick questions on the way out.
Cool.
This is simulation.
Yeah.
Are we in a simulation?
Man, I don't think so, but I would love it if it was. You know, I think that's really like, I don't like the whole world is a simulation. I don't know. Actually, I don't think so. And if it was, then can someone make my life better? I'm like, what are you doing? Help me out a little bit.
That's the thing. Your character's got to level up. You got to go through the hard work to level up the character. That's how the life gets better. All right, and the last question is, what do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
Someone falling. Someone just not getting injured, but like see someone on the street slipping like a slip and just like that's like one of the most genuine moments that you'll get out of a person. Just you'll see everything in that moment. You know, you'll see them be embarrassed. You'll see it's such a genuine.
You wonder why your life's so miserable. You dirty rat.
That's the most beautiful thing.
But the misfortune of other people.
But this is really good. If you really the way you're breaking it down is great, because you do get to see, because you know, when, for example, when you walk and you slip and you're like, oh my God, who just saw me? And you're all like worried and anxious, versus when you walk and slip and you're like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you really get to know a person just from watching them like be that vulnerable. Like when they like, so I'm not saying I don't want anybody to get hurt, but just like, you know, just like you take a misstep on like a curb or like you slip on some ice, because then you really get to know that person when you see them, how they handle it, and then how they go out from that situation. Because some people, you could tell that they suck by the way they try to pull off thinking that they're super cool.
Exactly.
You know
yes.
And then
trying to like be all super cool about
it. Because then at first it was funny. Now it's like, oh man, like this person sucks. And then if you see a person and then they like slip and then
they laugh at themselves.
They laugh at themselves.
They take a bow. That would be hilarious.
You could tell that person doesn't take themselves too seriously, and then it's even more funny. It's a more
exactly.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you said that. That's the first time we've had an answer.
Also, I will
like
never
that.
be as funny. I don't think any comedian. That's like a thing. Like, no comedian will ever be like as funny as someone just like slipping, and falling, at like a random.
Yeah. As long as they're not getting hurt. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a good
it's like
point.
yeah.
Awesome. This has been super fun, Andrew. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
I hope it wasn't too boring.
No, it was super fun. It was great hearing about your journey. There were a lot of really good takeaways. Andrew said that. Your notes. Yeah, there will be nothing for you to write down this profound. But no, there were a good amount of things that that I got to write down. Thanks so much for coming on. All of Andrew's links are below. Everyone, go and check out Andrew's links. Check out the comedy showcase that happens in Oakland on Mondays at 8. Also check out the Pier 69 podcast, links below. Andrew's website, links below. Yes.
Can I plug one thing?
Plug, please.
Okay. So on March 30th, March 30th, we're doing the Pier 69 podcast is doing a live album recording of all our stand-up. It's going to be a compilation album. We're all doing like shorter sets, like 10-minute sets. It's gonna be real fun. It's in a secret location.
Okay.
BYOB, and you can find all that information at don'ttellcomedy.com.
Interesting. Don'ttellcomedy.com. Okay, we got to remember to put that as well in the bio. I love this. We got to have Pier 69 on. Let's make that happen, Andrew. Let's have the team on. That'll be a lot of fun. Check out the links below. Huge thank you to Ron Vargas for producing and directing. We love you very much. Thank you.
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
He's in the full Raiders fan.
He does technical directing for the Raiders. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pay me.
And everyone, support the artists and entrepreneurs that you believe in. Go and help them succeed. Our links are below for Simulation 2. If you believe in us, help us out, please. And go and build the future, everyone. Manifest your dreams into the world. We love you very much, and we will see you soon. Peace. Woo!
Oh, shit. Shit, I messed up. Oh, my God.